Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Bann. I'm trying out a new setup today. Today's brew is Brooklyn Bean Roastery Cinnamon Subway. It's decaf, because it is a little bit later in the day than I'd like to be drinking coffee. Today's topic is the Xbox 360. Oh no, that... Okay, yeah, I definitely taste cinnamon there. It's not bad. I think the coffee itself is a little bit lower quality than some coffees I've had. But at the same time, meh. I think it's good. So, the Xbox 360. This is my actual childhood one with the hard drive that I originally got with it. As you can tell, it's a little bit, it was owned by a child. This is I got this thing for $5 at a yard sale. Came with the cables, but not a controller. Now, I did have a controller. I no longer have it, but it was a pink rock candy controller, right? And, let's just say it was bad. It had, like, an acid hole in it or something, like some kind of burn hole. And it was a weird... I got it for like $4 at Goodwill, right? Back when you could actually find good deals at Goodwill stores. And it was a bad controller. It was in rough shape. But it worked. Up until the like, stick, the cap thing on the joystick just came off, and so all that was left was the stick underneath, and it was basically unusable. But like, I kind of sort of made do. Anyway, bad controller aside, the Xbox 360 is something that I loved and used quite a bit. And yet, despite that, have very little experience with most of its library. Because, like, when I first got this, I was about 12. Now, this is from 2007, which I believe means that it's from before they changed the design. Like, it's from before they changed the motherboard revision. So this is an original model, and it's still going strong. I don't know how, but the thing hasn't just completely red-ringed. It still works, it still powers on. I've used it within the last, like, month. 2 months. I've used it this year. The 360 is interesting because it... Oh no, it's interesting regardless, but one interest... It was the first of the 7th generation consoles. And you can definitely see that Microsoft kind of rushed it to market. Namely, it had some reliability issues, as all consoles are going to have at the very beginning of their life cycle, but like, when I say reliability issues, I mean it just didn't function most of the time. Like, I think the majority of 360s sold in the launch window did not work. Just completely busted. And, that's kind of an issue. The Red Ring of Death, as it was called. It had three... Well, okay, so the 360 had 4 lights around the power button that could denote what number of controllers were connected, right? But those lights were green when controllers were connected, but a red lights on it meant an error. So I don't remember what 1 or 2 lights... Actually, I think 2 is it overheated. 4 lights meant you didn't have an AV cable plugged in. But 3 lights? That was the dreaded Red Ring of Death, which meant just general hardware error. Actually, I should... One sec, let me look up... So, I guess... 1 segment flashing red means that there's an error which you can see the code for on screen. 2 means it overheated and needs to cool down. 4 was AV not connected, and 3 was general hardware failure, which most of the time meant your Xbox is cooked. When I say cooked, I do mean literally. These things had some of the worst thermal problems of any console ever, right? Like, these things were designed very, very poorly initially. They had bad solder, if I recall correctly, and very poor cooling, and that would cause the motherboard to warp and the GPU to like crack solder balls on it and such. Basically, the thing had trouble with heat, and that would absolutely kill it. And oftentimes, people would get them dead on arrival. It's crazy. I genuinely don't know how mine is still working. Anyway, okay, so that was the original 360, right? There were other models. There were motherboard revisions to the original model, like, design as well, that had HDMI or fixed some of the thermal issues, but, like, still were not ideal. I have 2 more of these, but in black, over in the living room. They're actually holding my TV. They're holding the living room TV up at the moment. The 360S is where things started to get good. The 360S was the second major revision of the 360, right? Or 360 Slim, whichever you want to call it. It was, big shocker, slimmer. And it was very, very, what's the word? Subtle. That was the word. It was very subtly X-shaped. How did I forget the word subtle? Anyway, thing came in 2 variations, like, primarily. There was the version with 4 gigabytes of internal storage, which had a matte finish, and looked okay. Well, honestly, actually, I think it looks pretty good. And then there was the one that had an internal hard drive, and came in a glossy finish, and I think looks bad. But that's just because I don't like glossy consoles. Or really glossy anything that you're expected to touch at all. Like, a glossy screen? Hate it. If I could make every screen matte, that would be incredible. But anyway, so the 360S fixed the design issues with the original. And honestly, I think it's just really good in general. It's a nice design. It doesn't destroy itself. And like, it's cool. And on the 360E, not Elite, just E, tried to replicate the original Xbox One when that came out, and like, it certainly looks nondescript like the original Xbox One. I'll say that. But like, what a weird choice. Anyway, it was sort of the cheaper model overall. It got rid of the like full-sized AV port that was here and replaced it with just like the stupid headphone jack AV port, which meant it also didn't support component. So if you wanted anything high definition, you had to go through HDMI, which, I mean, honestly, isn't a problem. But like, I think it's cool to support things still. So far I've just been talking about the consoles themselves, and there is more to the 360 than just the console. There is the controller, and there are the games, which I don't have out here. Darn. Well, whatever. So, the 360 was, I think, where hardcore gaming really started. That was where that was where like Call of Duty became really massive, and that was where a lot of the big, like, darker, grittier, whatever stuff started happening. Like, again, Call of Duty, or, what else? Crap, I'm blanking. I don't know, man. Just, the 360 had a reputation for being sort of like the hardcore gamers console for quite a while. And, with hardcore gaming came more realism, which just meant make everything look brown and muddy and sad. Like, Grand Theft Auto is a series that was on consoles before the 360. But GTA 4 was the first next-gen Grand Theft Auto game. Like, it was the first, HD one, and it definitely had the urine stain filter on it. Everything was brown and sad. I mean, GTA 4 is great in other ways, but, like, I think it's a little bit boring visually in that regard, and, like, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Well, okay, I guess San Andreas had a little bit of that, but it wasn't going for realism exactly, it was just going for more of a sepia tone type of thing. 'Cause, like, the desert of California, or whatever, I don't know, man. But, like, it wasn't going for realism, it was just going for a style. But, like, Vice City? That was colorful as heck! And GTA 4 just kind of got rid of all the color and made it varying shades of brown. I don't know, man. Or like, oh, what's the Need for Speed? That might have the most egregious mud filter that I've ever seen. I don't even remember which game it was. I haven't really played a lot of Need for Speed at all. But I remember seeing it, and it just... Why? Whatever. My experience with the 360 was overall not that era. What I experienced with the 360 was... take a wild guess. Take a wild freaking stab in the dark as to what I might have played on 360. Did you guess Sonic? Because that'd be correct. I played the bright and colorful stuff. I played Sonic Generations, Sonic Unleashed, a demo for Sonic 3, I think. There were also some other games on there that I played, like, when I got this 360, it came with, a hard drive that had a bunch of demos on it, right? And I loved the heck out of those demos, and I could not figure out how to connect it to the internet for the longest time. It just wouldn't connect. Then I learned that I had to just reset network settings so that the Ethernet would actually, like, work, whatever. It was weird, and I don't know why it was like that. But it was, and it works now, and, like, long story short, the first thing that I did when I got this thing connected to the internet was download a demo of Sonic Generations. I think I did this while I was grounded, actually. I wasn't supposed to be using it. But yeah, played demo of Cloning Clyde, I played Sonic Generation. I beat Sonic Generations for the first time on 360, and actually the version that I 100%ed was the 360 version. I played some of Sonic Unleashed. What else did... Right, I had Splosion Man demo and Miss Splosion Man demo. Oh, and the Speedrunners HD demo. Oh man, I remember Speedrunners HD so fondly, and like, unfortunately they got rid of Xbox Live Indie games. Right! Xbox Live Arcade! Okay, so 360 was not the first Xbox with Xbox Live Arcade on it, right? But it was the first one to have it built in. And, there were a lot of just little, simple arcade games. Or arcade-style games. It was just a marketplace for, you know, smaller, simpler titles. And at some point, they made something called XNA Game Studio, I believe, that allowed pretty much anybody to make a game for 360. It would be an Xbox Live Arcade kind of title. It was very simple, but it was cool. And, unfortunately they discontinued that and removed all of the indie games made with it back in, like, 2017 or something. I don't know when they did. Either way, I have fond memories of a couple of them, Speedrunners HD, and, a game called Run, which, if I'm being honest, wasn't that good. But, like, it was certainly a game. It used the avatars that were introduced with the Kinect, I think. Oh yeah, the Kinect. Oh boy, the Kinect. So, Microsoft, for a while, was winning the console war against Sony. Not against Nintendo. Nintendo was doing their own thing with the Wii, and they absolutely ran away with it. But Microsoft saw that they were winning, but also saw how well the Wii was doing. And we're like, I need me a slice of that pie. And they decided that their next move would be to create a camera that goes in front of your TV and allows you to use your entire body as the controller. It sounds like a neat concept. Too bad it kind of sucked. It was difficult to work with, and most people could not properly utilize most people could not properly use the Kinect because it required a very large space to use properly. Like, the room I'm in right now, unless I were to get rid of this couch and these board things here, I could not. I could not use the Kinect, I don't think. It had some neat games for it, like, they basically took Rare and made them only do Kinect for a while. And they were the ones who made the cool stuff like Kinect Sports, the games that actually worked properly. Or Kinect Adventures. And then there was Sonic Freeriders, which I don't have any experience with, but my brother Kovar does, and he has said that it is actually genuinely unplayable. Which, honestly, I would believe. I mean, I do really want to get it now that I have a Kinect. Anyway. So, yeah, they did that, and then they focused on the Kinect for the rest of the 360's life, and then also into the Xbox One's life. Because they were like, people tolerate the Kinect sometimes. Let's make it a huge part of the Xbox One. And then they did that. And it sucked. Oh yeah, I never even talked about the controller, which I did a whole series ranking different controllers, and I plan to continue it at some point. I already talked about the 360 controller, but I will talk about it again because I like the 360 controller. It was the first it was the first console, I think, to have wireless controllers as the standard. I'm pretty sure the 360 came with a wireless controller by default. I think. I would have to fact check that. Editor Bann, please do that. 360 controller, very comfortable. It feels good in the hands. Everything feels overall good. Except this stupid thing, the D-pad. The D-pad feels like doo-doo to most people. I don't mind it, but that's probably because I grew up with the thing. I can live with the stupid, terrible Logitech F310 controller, I think it was. That is the worst feeling D-pad I have ever touched, and I can live with that. So nostalgia is capable of weird things. Anyway, 360 controller is nice. There's an adapter that lets you plug it into a computer, and you can use it on Windows, and I think a lot of the time it is close to an ideal way to play video games. Again, assuming you don't need to D-pad, you know? But I digress. No, I don't. This is still talking about the 360. But not for long. The moral of the story is, if you had a 360, you are likely going to get banned off of the face of the planet for anything that you said on Xbox Live back in, like, 2012. And that has been Coffee with Bann, where this has been... Crap, now I'm questioning. I have to check. That would have been better to say as just the moral of the... You know, Okay, it is this. And this has been Coffee with Bann.